Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so, let's see. So our card for tonight is the Queen of Swords. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. I am supposed to say it throughout the video. And I forget, but I just remembered. So if you haven't subscribed yet, yes, think about doing that. And if you relate to this reading in any way or it speaks to you in some way, please think about liking the video. Okay. So, interesting. Immediately, I'm seeing the side profile of a face. As you can see, the nose and the mouth, the eye. Okay, looking down, and it looks like a person who's maybe wearing kind of a dress of some kind. And this face, it looks, it almost kind of looks otherworldly, right? It reminds me of something like an apparition, some kind of oppressive force. Okay, kind of looming over you, watching everything that you do. I feel like sometimes this energy, it feels like, like it's like surveilling you, right? And it's hard to feel like you can navigate your life freely the way that you would like to with this energy. Now, is this a real person, or is this kind of something that, maybe you've been somewhere, or maybe you've lived in a place where it does. It feels like there's some kind of intelligence around you. And it can feel like you are making decisions based on being, witnessed by something. And that can be so very tiring, right? It's like, 24 hours a day, you are just, you're operating off of this feeling of judgment, okay, off of that kind of harsh eye, that unforgiving kind of wickedness, and I see there's like a sense of pushing, kind of being, taken aback or trying to hide one's face from this feeling, okay? And, it's almost, I almost wonder if this is like a family member, somebody you grew up around, somebody who, you perceive now to really continue to have this influence in your life. And it's hard to break away from that, even if this is something that happened, many, many years ago, 50, 60 years ago, it could be, and that does happen. We are so influenced by where we become, where we become people, where we form our personalities, our experiences. And unfortunately, on top of that, we kind of attract more often than not, and I think this is part of the work, this is the interior work, but we often attract and are attracted to some of these difficult configurations of people, and where we have had a hard time. It's like it's a learned atmosphere, a learned behavior. It's not a behavior, but we learn about the world through the people we grow up around, right? That's how it is. And if we are trying to break away from those cycles or not, we often do find it again and again and again. Okay. And so it's part of the work to kind of, learn to get out from under that gaze, right? That control. And so I look at this and I feel like, there has been a sense of being stifled by this energy. It's like a dulling down of how you feel about yourself, who you feel you are because of this energy. And if this is reality or if this is just perceived. So I think that, as I look at this and we see the Queen of Swords, there is a sense of in moments, you very clearly see what is going on, and a sense of not being misled any longer. Now, the action, this is where, we know, but what are we going to do about it? Right? And I want to turn this. Okay, and so this is interesting because and it looks maybe like it's an A. It reminds me kind of like a nutcracker. And it has the little, if you've ever seen one of those metal ones, those old school metal ones. But then I turn it this way and it looks like we have a person who is holding the same formation, smaller. But it looks like the same shape. So it's reiterated here. And this looks like a knight of some kind. Okay. You can see the head, the kind of helmet there, and the body. Now we also have a person here, again, with the dress, arms raised. And, ultimately, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, there's a sense of wanting to be saved, right? To be saved from these circumstances, or, this perception of the world, and, this feeling of something just really kind of that oppressive, heavy feeling, wanting to escape it, wanting to find some relief from it. And ultimately, I think that it really often comes down to we have to save ourselves in a lot of ways. If this is a situation where there is abuse or a controlling spouse or whatever, something like this. This is not what I'm talking about. That's like an entirely different situation. That is something that, is far more complicated and something that, I'm not qualified to speak on. Only that please be safe and careful and, try to have support people. I know that's not easy when you're in a situation like that. But there are places, there are trained people that can help with that. So, looking at this, I feel like this is so much more an internal conflict. And so often this is what life is, an internal conflict. So much of reality, so much of life that we encounter, our projections of our interior ordeals. And so I look at this and I think that there really is this feeling of coming to a place of making a decision for yourself, not choosing against yourself. And that's what that Queen of Swords is really about. Having the knowledge, but also the bravery to cut away those falsehoods, those illusions, the things that keep us stuck in our beliefs, in our, in the turmoil of our emotionality, back and forth and back and forth, and, just kind of going in circles. And so we must, break ourselves free. And, I really think that this is where you are at. This is where you are working. And this is, so much the thing. I think a lot of what happens is we carry this kind of personal mythology about ourselves, this belief that we are incapable of, overcoming some aspect of ourself or our, of our experience, and we make it part of our identity, and as we know through any real esoteric work, religious work, spiritual work, our identity doesn't really mean anything. Our self-mythology is a place for us to process through things. It is a theater for us to work through on a very deep and esoteric level. Okay, the things that happen in our mundane life, in our material life, in our quote-unquote real life. These are the ordeals that we create. These are the ordeals that we are given, and these are the places that we work out some of these higher spiritual concepts, our own personal hero's quest. Now, if we get stuck in the belief that we cannot move forward or through or out of, or shed aspects of ourself, then it's like our wheels are just spinning and spinning and spinning and going nowhere. So I feel like this is really a sign that there is a breaking free of an old, outmoded concept of something going on in your life. And if that is manifested through some kind of dynamic you have with somebody, or a place, maybe a job or whatever it is, I do feel that you will be breaking free of all of this. Okay. We also have the butterfly, so a real sign of self-evolution. Okay. We also have, and it looks like a sparrow, I think. And so I feel like there's a toughness here, almost kind of a shrewdness. It feels shrewd, right? It feels maybe almost selfish for you to live the way that you need to exist the way that you need to. Maybe nobody understands why. Maybe they don't get your choices. They don't, they don't understand your priorities. They don't see your vision. Okay? But that doesn't really matter. Ultimately, you are the person living your life. And, where you decide that you will compromise or you will sort things in such a way that will, flow more easily with others in your life, then that's up to you. That is your choice. But I don't think, I don't think that Pisces is really the sort of person that can exist too long in somebody else's life. Like you're in somebody else's storyline, right? You have your own thing going on. And sometimes it's hard to not feel terrible about choosing what you need and what you want over, what is more agreeable. But I see you doing that. I see you with that Sparrow. I really feel that there is a sense of making the hard decision. Okay. Also, I keep looking at this face. And I don't know. It looks beautiful. It has nice lips here. And it looks kind of like a Picasso or something. But, I feel like there is a sense of emerging sensuality from, kind of breaking free into your own being, feeling more yourself than you have in some time, not being restrained by, and I don't even necessarily think that it's somebody else applying their control or trust or expectations on you, but I think that it's more this what you think they want, or what you think that is acceptable, right? Maybe you grew up in a family, a household, that maybe it was really strict, limited in, in its view of morality or whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't have to be that exactly, but, in it, and it really created a sense of guilt in you to do the things that you want to do. And it's not even that these are things that are necessarily, one might call deviant or wrong or anything like that. Just not in line with the culture of your family, of, your immediate community. And so, you've had to be brave quite often, right? And so, I see we have a rooster up there. So we have the kind of alarm going off. We're going through another cycle. This is a cycle of shedding. Another layer falling away. And now we have a W. Okay. And I wanted to say Pisces. I don't think, well, no, it doesn't really matter. We're like 20 minutes in. But this is a bonus reading. It will be on the front. I started my reading. I was just out of sorts. It's late. We've been traveling and we just got home. So I'm just a little bit trying to get back into the flow of what I'm doing here. But I will say, I had just some potent visions earlier. One was really interesting. A kind of a place of a lot of onions growing, which is, it was such a, I've never been anywhere where there were like, thousands of onions growing, and the green shoots coming up and the smell of it. And it was very intense, this kind of vision. And I don't know what that had to do with yet, but yeah, it was, I felt very immersed in it. And now we also have a little bird here. And so there will be a message coming through. I have 1, 2, 3. So maybe in the next 3 days after you watch this, I think that there will be a message coming through. Maybe a W person, somebody with a W name. I don't know exactly. But I feel that it is something important. And it could be through a dream. It could be through some kind of synchronicity or visitation. But, I think that it really is a feeling of assisting you in getting through this period of, lament, a little bit of guilt, a little bit of lamenting something that, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I know that oppressive feeling. I know that well. And, just trying to let go of these beliefs that we have internalized, these ideas other people have about the world, about us, and figuring out, how do I dispel that from myself when it does not serve me, right? And that's a lot of work. So we're going to look at the Cincy Child affirmation cards. I'm going to go ahead and go through, and I'm going to stop. And it says, I honor the space where I am at and all the steps that got me here. Yeah, I think that matches the tone of the reading. Totally. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, I'm going to say thank you, Pisces, thank you for letting me read for you. It is always such an honor and a privilege. This is a bonus reading. It's coming out on Saturday. So, if you would be so kind as to like the video, it does help the channel quite a bit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It is free. You don't have to pay anything to subscribe, but we'd love for you to join the community here. Somebody asked me, how do I join the community? Well, it really is just subscribing. And if you want to comment, if you want to engage in other comments, there's a growing, network of people on here. And if, as I always mention, if you want to leave a comment, I read them all and they mean a lot to me. Also, in the community post section, there is a post for anybody who has like a small business, a channel, some kind of service you'd like to promote or advertise. You can put it in there, and please do. I really feel quite passionate about having this little platform that I have, but being able to help people get out the word on whatever they're working on. And hopefully if, somebody comes to this channel and they're looking for something, they might find it in there, I feel like we attract, energies and the frequencies of, what we're seeking. It meets us. And this might be one of those places, right? So, Pisces, I want to say thank you again. I love you. Take care of yourself. We will talk in just a few days.